Howdy folks, welcome back to Paolo Strada for another video. So today we're talking about cycling nutrition done on the cheap. So let's get into it. So I'm not really a big fan of kind of sport-specific cycling food, like gels and energy bars and that sort of thing. I don't really like them because, for one thing, they're really expensive. And Lord knows this hobby is expensive enough as it is. But also, despite the fact that a lot of this food is marketed as being really convenient, I actually don't find it to be all that convenient. Gels in particular, I find often really difficult to open with one hand, or even both hands with some brands, naming no names. And actually, gels can be pretty bulky. Like, you'll only get a few of them into your jersey pocket before it's completely full. And one brand recommends that you have 3 gels every hour. So for me, they're just really not that convenient compared to the kind of food that you can get in the supermarket. So today I'm going to run through 5 foods that are really good for keeping you fueled up when you're on the bike on a longer ride. And these are all foods that I eat on the bike regularly. I find them to be really cost effective for one thing, but also really convenient to eat and carry as well. Okay, so number 1 is bananas, pretty much the undisputed king of endurance sports nutrition. Bananas are great because they're full of energy, they come in their own environmentally friendly packaging, they got plenty of potassium in them to keep your electrolyte levels up, and they're very easy to eat when you're on the bike. The only complaint that I and some other cyclists have with the banana is that it can be a little bit inconvenient. So it's quite difficult in my experience to fit them into kind of on-bike bags, like if you've got a handlebar bag, for example. It can be really tricky to get even one banana in. So really a jersey pocket is the only place you're going to be able to carry one. I have seen some cyclists attaching them to the bike with tape though, so maybe give that a try if you're really desperate to carry more bananas with you. Number 2 is flapjacks. This oat-based snack is a favourite of juvenile bakers and cyclists alike. Even if you're like me and you have no baking skills, you can easily make flapjacks at home. There's loads of really good recipes out there online. All you need to get them together is butter, sugar, and oats. And if you're vegan, I've found that vegan spread works just as well as butter for making flapjacks. Homemade flapjacks are obviously much cheaper than the energy bars that you can buy in a lot of online shops. And the great thing about homemade ones is that you can cut them up into whatever shape you like. So if you're trying to fit them into a specific shaped frame bag, for example, the only downside is that you do have to wrap them up in foil or paper or something in order to carry them, unless you want a really sticky jersey pocket. I don't recommend carrying it without some sort of packaging. And because you have to wrap them up, they can be a little bit tricky to open on the move, particularly if you're not comfortable riding with no hands on the handlebars. Once opened, however, they are very easy to munch down, although I've sometimes found that you can get kind of little pieces of flapjack kind of stuck in the back of your throat, which isn't very nice, particularly when you're trying to do a hard effort. Pro tip, if you want some more potassium for your money, try adding raisins to your flapjack recipe. Number 3 is dark chocolate. So I'm talking about just normal dark chocolate here, not the 99% cocoa stuff that's become popular recently and tastes like ash, in my opinion. As well as being really sugary and delicious, dark chocolate also packs in a bit of caffeine as well, which is really good for keeping your energy levels high when you're on a long ride. And it's also a good source of magnesium, which is another electrolyte that you find in a lot of sport-specific food. Dark chocolate is really calorie dense, so you'll be able to carry a lot of servings before you start to run out of space. But the one major drawback is that obviously dark chocolate does melt, so you can't really carry it in a jersey pocket, particularly on a hot day. So I'd recommend just keeping it in a frame bag and probably wrapped in foil as well, just to make sure it stays solid. Dark chocolate does have a slightly higher melting point than milk chocolate though. So the air temperature has to reach about 32 degrees before dark chocolate will start to melt. So it's unlikely that you'll run into any problems if it's stored in a frame bag, for example. I've generally found it very easy to handle and eat on the go. Number 4 is dates. Now don't worry, these dates won't leave you with a feeling of profound inadequacy and self-loathing. Dates are a firm favourite of cyclists worldwide. I normally go for the dried, pitted variety, but any other ones that you can find, like medjool dates for example, are also really good. They're really compact considering how much energy they pack in, which is great, and they're really easy to munch on the go as well. So I used to eat raisins when I was out on the bike quite a lot, but I found that it was really difficult to chew them up and swallow them quickly. But I don't have that problem with dates. It's really easy to get them down and carry on with your ride. I tend to portion my dates out before my ride so that I know roughly how many I need to eat and when. My only complaint with dates is that tiny little bits tend to get stuck between my teeth and my gums, which can be quite irritating, but apart from that, they're great. They're also a really good source of fibre and potassium as well, so that's really good for keeping your electrolyte levels stocked up. Number 5 is fig rolls. I once read on a cycling forum that fig rolls offer the same concentration of electrolytes as energy gels. So this cake snack is obviously a favorite among a lot of old school road cyclists, but unfortunately none of the fig rolls that I've been able to find in the UK actually offer similar electrolyte levels to energy gels. It's really important to note with fig rolls as well that some of the ones you can get a hold of are vegan, so I've found that the Bolland and McVitie's ones are vegan, but a lot of shop brand ones aren't, so just make sure you check the ingredients before buying. So while they can be slightly bulkier than dates or dark chocolate, they're still pretty compact and they only take up about as much space as a gel for a similar carbohydrate content. The only area that I think the fig roll kind of lets you down is they're not very easy to munch on the go. They can be quite dry and therefore difficult to eat if you're working hard, but they're very, very easy to handle, so you won't have to worry about stopping to get them out of a bag, for example, if you don't want to. So I just highly recommend having a bottle of water ready to go to help you munch down those fig rolls a little bit quicker. So like I said, fig rolls in this country don't tend to have similar levels of electrolytes as energy gels, but in my research for this video I found that the Nabisco Fig Newtons, which are available in the United States, actually do contain a decent amount of electrolytes compared to your average energy gel. So that particular brand would serve as an excellent alternative to energy gels if you were looking to save a bit of cash. So there you go, 5 cheap foods that can all serve as an excellent source of energy when you're on the bike, proving that you don't need to spend a fortune on sport-specific food. So I haven't mentioned sweets here, partly because it can be difficult to find vegan or even vegetarian-friendly ones, but also because sweets don't really have any nutritional value beyond the sugar content. So with all of these foods, I've tried to pick ones where they give you a bit of an electrolyte boost, as well as helping you stay stocked up on carbohydrates. And unfortunately, most sweets don't do that. What I would say is that sweets are really good in a pinch, like if you start to feel a bonk coming on, then tuck into some jelly babies or whatever you fancy in order to stave that off. But in my opinion, sweets shouldn't really be used as a main source of fuel when you're on the bike. And for me, the key with cycling nutrition is always variety. So I try never to eat the same thing twice in a row. If I'm going out on a long ride, I might take bananas and dates and maybe dark chocolate with me and just try to alternate them as much as possible. And then I'll also have a rotation of different foods over time that I'm eating as well. So have bananas and dates on one ride and then maybe oat bars and fig rolls on the next one. That said, I do take bananas with me on pretty much every ride I go on because they are just the best. I find it very easy to get sick of a particular snack if I'm eating it too frequently, so I don't recommend going out for a century ride laden with a dozen bananas. Thanks for watching, guys. Please do like and subscribe. It'll help me on my way to getting sponsored by all the companies I've slagged off in this video.